All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Lions versus Drake the Vondel Battles, week number 3, hot and ready, straight into map number 2. You love to see it. The players are on point, and so is our tournament staff. I'm Taylor Reflections Joewo, joined by Lucky, and man, map 1 was crazy. Map 2, baby, it's going to be even better.
Oh man, the action doesn't stop. Diaz already has the Cronin in hand, looking for his first enemy to go. Oh, looks like he's a rotating marketplace. Oh, we're gonna see an entire different zone. This is great. Okay, so we had a south zone pool, which has a little bit more water on the side of the map, but now we're going north. Now we're going towards museum. Now we're going to the top right-hand side. The building's gonna play a huge factor into it. So seeing these teams post up, maybe his zone earlier will be huge. Shifty gonna go to get a knock on the Hisoka, actually.
I can't put this.
Hisoka again, man. That's going to be a bad. It's personal. I mean, it has to be, right? Second place back-to-back weeks. Meanwhile, the other team first place back-to-back weeks. Like, Hisoka is coming for their throat. However, it's not working out. At least it didn't work out in map number 1. But let's face it, Lucky, we've got 7 maps to go. This is obviously going to be one of those. So, hey, it's only going to heat up from here. I am sure of it. But as we typically see, Seijiko is going to be on top of the rooftop. And actually, Sage is going to go ahead and get himself some separation from his teammates, which, as you talked and you mentioned, you could do that because it's Resurgence. You can afford to be a bit more aggressive as long as you have teammates who are kind of hanging back.
Yeah, you know, I think Resurgence is a great mixture of every type of playstyle, right? If you want to sit back, snipe, get those snipes while your teammates play aggro, you could do that. End game, the intensity is going to build up. But one thing I want to talk about was Sage, the weapon he had in hand. Now, I'm going to assume that was his custom loadout, and he was rocking the MP7. That's a little bit, you know, a different weapon to use. Most of these players using the ISO and MP5. Sage is going to be... Actually, Shifty is going to fall down, and Diaz is going to try to clean this up real quick with the MP5 in hand. But seeing the SMG meta switch is a little bit different. You'll see that in a public match, in a custom lobby against the best of the best. You know, hey, you're coming off game 1. You won it. You won back-to-back, so I'm going to let him do what he wants to do. Wants to pull out the MP7, he can pull out the MP7, you know? Who am I?
Hey, bro, yo, you said it best. Like, sometimes you just gotta let them fry and do their thing. All right? You can be like, hey, dude, like, I suggest you do that. No, dude, I'm the kill leader. Yeah. All right, cool. You go do your thing. You know, like, hey, it is what it is. And I'm not telling Biffle anything. I'm not even telling Shifty anything because they're both neck and neck. But here we go, Smixy on your screen. I say it every week because I gotta give her the props and respect she deserves. The only female to qualify for the World Series of Warzone Global Finals. She's an incredible player, but I will say Smixy, Attract, and Flanked have been having issues finishing teams quickly, Lucky, and therefore they find themselves in sticky situations, being eliminated early on.
Yep. It's going to be a little harder to get those eliminations, especially with the map being, you know, based on the high ground, you know, trying to rotate over to get a full stop, you know, full elimination. You got to go building a building, up the staircase, down the staircase. It's a little bit difficult. But looking at the leaderboard, we got Diaz in first, Blast in second. And wow, look at that jump from 40 to 19.5 to 17. It's a little bit close. Hisoka's actually going to be in 5th place, but not too far behind. Again, it's going to be all about closing one game. It's going to be, that's going to be Diaz, I believe. Is that Diaz? Wow. Yep, that's going to be Diaz's go. Hopping on board back with Flanked over here at Stadium. Going to be actually near a loadout, listening to see if anybody drops in. Hostile dropping in. He'll be the first to pounce on that. For a quick elimination, 2 under his belt, MP5 in hand. Smoke, high alert, what we talked about earlier too.
Yep, high alert's big, man. Because there's constant people looking your way. You need to know when you need to dip. Stadium has been a big focal point, and I mentioned TBE earlier. They were a team that loved to go here, or at least rotate eventually into here from Zoo. I'm expecting they might make an appearance, but obviously you just mentioned that it was Shifty's crew who actually ended up taking him down. So Smixy being gone, she's going to be coming back very shortly, but Flanked will spot a player. Now, does he play it safely? Does he go for the engagement? Well, he's going to go ahead and hold his ground, but look at that UAV, brother. There are teams everywhere, Lucky.
Oh, man, yeah. Flanked is in a bit of trouble, and you're going to see a lot of those players because it's not just his loadout there. You could expect 2, maybe 3 other loadouts there, and teams have the same idea as him. You want to, you know, sit near a loadout, wait till somebody goes by, get a quick elimination out of somebody trying to regain. Looks like Flank's going to work inside of the bathroom. Has 2 players on the lower level that seem to be body stacked. He's going to play it smart. Have 1 player come in. That's going to be a quick kill. Full elimination. A nade thrown just to keep that other player at bay. Going to go ahead and back it up here. He's only not even down a plate just yet. Runner's going to be the weapon of choice to see if he can get anything down that line of sight. The hallway is going to be in play. And one thing I do want to mention too, Smixy didn't go down without a fight. She brought down, I believe, Shifty or Diaz with her, then went down. So that's great. You know, get the eliminations. You could afford that at the beginning of the game. Raided, she's gonna run some Raided, so Raided's not too far from this area either. Yup, it's hot over here.
It's hot, but now Flanked is last alive. He's got to stay up because Smixy and Attract are now gone, and the cat's out of the bag already. Flanked, there's a team outside. They know he's there. They haven't pushed just yet. The proximity mine's going to help just a bit. Luckily, that timer is going to be reduced, so we will see Smixy and Co. get back into the fight, so he doesn't have to survive as long as I thought it was going to be, but we now transfer over to Wars and Co. Wars, a very talented player in his own right, and a bit slower of a game, only at 2 eliminations, but once we go through this door, what's on the other side?
We only have one team fully out, still 19 teams remaining. Although that number of players are dropping, 49, 50, it's going to go back up once those resurgent timer comes up, which I want to mention for the people at home. How do you get your teammates up? How do you get them up faster, right? You'll have the base timer of 20. That timer will get a little bit higher and higher as the matches go on, but faster way to reduce that is, you know, opening up crates, breaking armor, getting eliminations, even running will actually be on the go -2 seconds. So making sure you're there. See right here, Crease is gonna go down. They're gonna go ahead and get another elimination. That's gonna be on the Inno. Good bait and switch right there. Wars to get the knock. Junior gets a full kill, following up to see if there's a second player there. They're gonna back it up. They know, hey, Wars, he doesn't have any plates. The teammates down for the count. They're not in the best area. Let's slow it down. We don't have our loadouts. And then once things come into play, then we can, you know, wait for Crease to come back and then get a little bit of aggro again.
Well, the benefit is they don't have to rotate out of here. They could stay here simply because they're well within the zone, but there are a lot of tight corners, and we've seen proximity mines come into play already today, so you might never know what you're going to be running into once you clear, but it seems like they've got it down pat, they've got it locked in, and now it's time for Wars to get that regain, because you mentioned no plates, right? That's going to hurt, especially later on if they have to rotate out. But for the time being, all is going to be quiet. I say that, but where is this guy at? And Wars probably doesn't even know, and maybe even a guy in the water who kind of snuck up a little bit. The Sharks, he's the minnow.
There it is, and hopping on board with another fight. Skullface versus Team Swagg, which is going to be Super Evan down for the count. Ahsoka's going to follow another kill. That's going to be on Picnic, so 2 teams in this area. Looks like we have a bird's eye UAV up in the air. Juki's make that a 4 team in this area. Is going to get that full elimination. We hopping aboard Skullface, who's a little bit across the map from his teammates, but that's, again, it's great. This is not Battle Royale. It's not the big map. That player can kind of slow it down, be across the map. If they get eliminated, it's okay. Hey, I'm chilling in the water. I'll play the shark role. You know, I'll do my thing, wait for you to come back. I got the loadout secured. Soka could come back here in 30 seconds. Oh, the shots are coming in. He's got to swim away. Got 5 eliminations, though, which is great to have off the start.
Oh, no, he's gone.
No. Sage, it's going to be Sage. Uh-oh. 2 rivals are coming in.
So hard, you know, sometimes you can get away, sometimes you can't. That's one of those moments where you couldn't, and that's just a tough break. You know, I gotta say, Vondel, man, I hate the water. Really, I've grown to hate the water anyways, because it seems like a good option. It seems like I'm gonna chill here, I'm gonna flake around. We've seen it work a couple of times, but for the most part, it ends up being the undoing of players, and at times, entire trios. So Shifty's high alert's going off. He's got players all around him, he knows it, but we know where they like to be, and that's on the rooftop. But this time around, he's only had 2 eliminations. And I say only because last time we had a chance to check in with him, at this point in time with 17 teams remaining, he was sitting at a total of 9, or I think 7 or 9. So a bit of a slower game, but they're still alive. That's the important thing.
Yeah, that's the great part. It's just about being consistent throughout the whole tournament. If this game is not going to be one of their higher kills, and you know, maybe a first place victory for them, as long as they stay consistent with those kills and placement, doesn't always have to be a 27. It don't always got to be first. As long as it's something good to keep them up there on the top of the leaderboard to the very end, it's going to be good, especially outperforming your #1 rivals, right? Ahsoka is going to be the teams they got to watch out for. We saw them end game. They didn't win the game, but they were being consistent, and Shifty has to follow. If they're not going to be able to close out this match, especially with a lot of eliminations now that Shifty only has 2. But again, game's not over. At the beginning, third zone. Yep. Once Resurgence closes, which will be about 30 seconds, things will get a little bit crazier. One in hand, and that's going to be Super Evan falling.
And that's tough. You see, he's so disappointed, Lucky, in that elimination. Dude, they've just not had the best couple of weeks, and you know, even whenever Swagg is on their roster, which he's not here today, they qualify for World Series Warzone. They're a great roster, right? They're not taking anything away from them, but they have been struggling in weeks 1 and week 2, and I feel like it's because they're always getting pressured by like 2, 3 teams at a time, and they're forced to run away and try and stay alive, but they get hunted down. Something's not working, and I'm curious what they have to change, but I only get glimpses here and there, Lucky, of their perspective, so I don't know what it is.
Something might not be working for Evan, but something might be working here for Knight. He has 7 eliminations so far, but his players aren't doing too hot. They're down for the count. He has no plates, but he has 7 racks in his back pocket to hopefully get them up. Hopping aboard Tarsha with 1. Again, this is where the eliminations come into play. The positioning, you know, the placement might be good, but the eliminations have to be there for her, Zeppy, and Inno. They're going to be inside a little separate from each other. The M4 is going to be the weapon of choice for her, but that's going to be the weapon she spawned in from. So she's only going to have 30 eliminations. There we go. Diazbiffle expected to be where he's expected to be. That's going to be high ground, rotating now with Shifty on the left-hand side. We're going to go ahead and try to take the high ground here. Maybe even get positioning over that portable buy station that just spawned up at the top of Museum. Marks are coming into play. You mentioned this also at the top of the show is, you know, when you're coming back in, right, and you're flying back in, you know, you're not doing nothing. Get those live pings for your teammates, help them out here, give them the info. Exactly what we're gonna see coming out from Sage there for him and Shifty.
Yeah, Smixy was the first one to do it, at least from my perspective, on week number 1. She was that human UAV, and I love her, that aerial UAV, whatever you want to call it. I loved it, and like you said, pings are in, and for Biffle, he's got a good understanding where the players are at. Now, one thing that I do appreciate here, Lucky, is his ability to play it a bit slower. He was running around earlier. He looked like he wanted to make a push through those hedges, but he pumps the brakes, and it seems to be paying off with shields broken on the player up top. You got to be well-rounded, Lucky, and this team is very well-rounded. They're able to pump the brakes. They're able to hit the gas, but a lot of damage coming in. They've got to get out of this area to PA.
Oh, man, they're throwing everything at them. We got nades, P-strikes, another player pushing up. The Cronin's going to be the weapon, switching over to the MP5. Getting pushed into the tunnel. Come on, Deezy's going to go ahead and back it up here. He realizes, right? And that's what you were just mentioning. You know, he's a disciplined player. You know, hey, I'm not going to take a 1v3 endgame for $20,000 on the line. Let me back it up. Play with my teammates who are just as good and, you know, slow it down a bit. That's what they're going to do. They're going to rotate on the left-hand side under the tunnel. There's a zipline that takes them up top, but that might not be for them. Nades are coming in. Dia's going to go ahead and lay down, get the shots there. Not enough to break armor, but that's going to be Adrian following a Shifty. Now in a 3v2 situation at best. Dia's trying to get a little bit aggro. His teammates aren't going to have plays. Now it's a 2v2. Sage is going to be down and full dead. Another armor crack.
He's being hunted as well, right? So his positioning is out, and he knows, or at least the enemy team knows where he's at. And that could very well be Adrian's roster. Aydan not playing today, so curious how it's going to end up paying up. Like you said, rated that IGL, trying to lead the charge against Sage and Co. Biffle down. Shifty Sage, though, still up. And this is going to be a tense fight, tense situation to be in, especially given where the zone is just to their left. So you got to expect the teams Biffle saw a little bit earlier past those hedges are now rotating in. Case in point, I think that was one of at least the trio that he saw earlier. So this is a tense moment, man, and if they could get out of this, they could get out of anything, but also it opens up the opportunity to pick up a ton of eliminations very quickly.
Yeah, it's going to be tough, but now Sage is going to be brought back with that quick flare, going to be able to give them some pings, and this is where the map knowledge is going to come into play. They're going to be able to hopefully rotate down underneath, where Natasha ended up being getting eliminated. Diaz going to get another knock and full kill on TVE noobs. And we can expect a 3v2 coming out of that fight. 9 teams remaining, 22 players still up. Diaz now going to hold, looks like they're going to hold this area out until the last very second to clean up any of these teams rotating in, and then work on their rotation, because it's not far, right? It's not far. The Chronos are coming to play, good knock on in. Nades are coming in. That's going to be Al knocking out Shifty. That's going to be Diaz knocking out Wars. So a couple teams here, right? Those are obviously not on the same team right there. Shifty's going to climb up top, and now they're starting to rotate in. Now they're starting to clean up room by room. The nades ready, get the smokes ready. Now they're going to go ahead
and Biffle gets ward. Biffle gets another. Hold up a second. This might be a trio being gone or eliminated. Down to 8 total trios remaining, 18 players. Surprisingly, despite all this chaos, I feel like teams haven't dropped as quickly as they have in previous games. Even if we entered into Resurgence, I think with like 14 rosters remaining, which was by far the quickest Resurgence we've seen yet. For Biffle, man, oh, dude, they got to go all through this building. This is going to be a tough spot. Oh, and it's in the water? I hate it.
Half of it is in the water, and this is the last and final zone. Don't forget, guys, at home, it doesn't go all the way to 10th on Resurgence. It goes down to 7. Now, P-Strike's going to come to play, and majority of the zone's going to be in water. We got Brolic now on the rooftop, going to get a full elimination. That's going to be a team wipe. 13 teams remaining. This would be another full trio. One of them, maybe the few trios still alive.
That's right.
They're going to hold this area down. No gas mask for them, so they have to rotate in. That's going to be a knock coming in from Team Sage. Insects, and just like that, 1, 2, 3. I believed, and they were eliminated. How quick was that?
That's tough. Yeah, dude, go through the window. 2 went through the window. They end up getting gunned down immediately. Brolic falls all the way down to the ground. There's another player. I mean, you just can't catch a break. And playing inside of the storework, should be inside of the gas. is going to be Imrias as he's forced to push up. He finally breaks free. The smokes are there. He's going to try and stay on this bridge as long as possible and not break down to the water, and somehow spots a player a second as well to pick up 2. That puts him at 4. Getting tagged up now goes to from one land to the other into the water. We go 14 eliminations, and lucky they'll be your game winners.
Wow, what an end game. They didn't want to go to the water zone. They ended it before it could.
Do you blame them?
No, absolutely not. I love the plays coming in. Great teamwork. You know, one of the few trios still alive, and we're noticing the trios that are staying alive coming into the 5th, 6th zone are the ones who seem to close it out. Back to back, we saw from Diaz. Now we're seeing it from this team as well. So good cleanup right there. 14 eliminations, a little shy of the 20 elimination target mark, but again, the consistency, maybe they close out another one, they'll be fine and good to go after that. So
a little shy of the 20 mark, a little shy of 27 eliminations we saw a little bit earlier as well. Great game though.